Interested in real estate investing but not quite sure where to get started? Do you want to get the know-hows on creating ongoing passive income using the buy and hold strategy? Hi, I'm Janice Bowles, licensed realtor and co-founder of B Premier Ventures, a real estate development and consulting firm where we buy and beautify distressed estate, renovate it, and resell for profit. For 50 years of experience, B Premier has extensive knowledge in rural land development, fix and flips, and rental acquisitions. B Premier portfolio consists of properties within and Virginia. Our firm services includes investor project consulting, project management, and group coaching. For more information, visit our website at bpremierventures.com and schedule a complimentary discovery session or subscribe to our email list. It's free. Follow me on Instagram at Janice Bowles for additional real estate investing tips. B Premier Ventures, we buy and beautify.
Hey everybody, welcome to today's episode of Let's Do It Talk Show. It's your girl, Ladrine Howard Peterson, the CEO and founder of Do It, delivering on ideas and thoughts. And you know what I do in a nutshell. I help to turn dreamers into doers. And I do it from two aspects. I do it from the aspect of career development, resume writing, interview preparation, transferring skills, and anything HR. I'm your girl. And then I also do it from a business standpoint. If you're looking to start a business, if you have some ideas, but you don't know how to quite bring them to fruition, you need a business plan, you need additional marketing strategies, I am your girl. So here at the Let's Do It Talk Show, we were primarily created for entrepreneurs, but quickly learned that we needed to focus on all aspects. So we talk about faith, we talk about finances, we talk about the future, career, and business entrepreneur, and then we also talk about family and relationships. Today is the third Monday, and the third Mondays are focused on the future. So today we will be talking about both career and business, and twisting in a little bit of faith. So our episode today is your gifts will make room for you. Your gifts will make room for you. But you know how we do. Before I jump into the show, there's several things that I do. So one thing that I could not have our show without doing is paying homage to two huge civil rights leaders that we lost over the weekend, Friday, actually on the same day. So we are going to show quick video. First, let's do it for Representative Congressman John Lewis. So we have a quick video for him. So definitely, job well done. It's so many things that we know Representative Congressman Lewis for, but the most popular thing is the Selma Bridge, the whole Selma Black Sunday, and all of the things that went along with that. But also at the very young, tender age, him partnering up with Dr. Martin Luther King by writing a letter to him, then being a part of his whole crew, and then that that brilliant speech that he gave at the March on Washington, and even after having to tone it down a little bit, still end up being like a spectacular speech. A lot of people only remember the portions of the I Have a Dream speech and Dr. Martin Luther King from that standpoint, but many people spoke upon that, and one was definitely Congressman John Lewis. And a couple other things. I looked at his documentary that he has out now, John Lewis, and it's basically titled after the slogan that he always talked about, which was good trouble. And I watched it today. It's about an hour and 45 minutes. Very impactful. So if you get the opportunity, take a moment to do it. On some channels or some ways it costs, but other ways, Faucet, it was free. But just went through some of the things that I pulled out as him being a hero and always being known as the conscious of Congress. And also, he was arrested 40 times before he got into Congress, 5 times after actually being seated in Congress, known for good trouble, is necessary trouble, and also talking about it was okay and he will get another concussion, because he talked about the concussion that he got on the Selma Bridge march. And he said that, you know, he got that concussion so that Congress can become conscious. So he did play on the words with the C's. But everybody love him, respect him for all that he did, fighting in a non-violent way, and was still able to be ever so powerful and impactful to us, and still to this day walked into the non-violence up until the day of his death. So huge shout out to our congressman. He will forever be remembered in all aspects for all of his slogans: speak up and speak out, don't get lost in the sea of despair, lose all sense of fear. When you lose all sense of fear, then you feel like you're set free. But also, so he's very popular and well known. A lot of people, and maybe it's like generational thing, but I can remember studying about C.T. Vivian. Very impactful. I know and study him from the lunchroom counters of being very impactful for that, and also for voter registration. He was one of the ones that I read about as a child, where he actually had led 100 people to a voting registration, and they were turned away. But the powerful words that he talked about the lack of freedom and the various things that went on. Again, very impactful person. And we have the videos that I could find, the clippings of him that we're going to play very quickly. And may they both rest in peace. So let's lighten it up a little bit. I don't want to spend this show crying, but very emotional for the world. So also this weekend, a couple little things happened. So one of the things is, y'all know my cooking during coronavirus. So Layla Ali actually had a cooking demonstration on Instagram, and she posted the recipe for people to follow, and I'm on her email list. So I got it, ordered my stuff, and I actually cooked some gumbo, and it was delicious. The only thing was, hers seemed to be a little teeny bit darker, but I kept like staring it at the pace that she said so, and the taste was just so great and good. So those were all the ingredients that it took. So it was seafood gumbo. So it was chicken, lump crab meat, and also shrimp with the other ingredients. But when I tell you, it was delicious. So I had it over rice, and then that morning for breakfast, I had it over grits. And I didn't think that I liked gumbo. Like when I tasted previously, it was just like, okay. So anyway, that's enough about the weekend. Let's get into the show. So again, the title of this episode is Your gifts will make room for you. We're going to talk about transferable skills from the workplace to the marketplace. We're going to talk about transferable gifts from the sanctuary to society. And then we're going to talk about faithpreneur. Really needs no introduction, no explanation, but just in case you don't know, it's going to be about faith and business and more like deep diving into, is it okay to mix the two? Is it okay to mix the two? So for guests today, we have a very important person with us, but first let me introduce my co-host, no other than Dr. Karen. How are you today, Dr. Karen? How are you, Dr. Karen? I can't hear Dr. Karen. Are you muted, Dr. Karen? So,
Can you hear me?
yes, we can hear you now. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Great, awesome. Can you give a quick intro and let everyone know who you are, just in case they don't know?
Absolutely. I am Dr. Karen Hills Pruden. I am the career elevation expert for female middle managers seeking senior leadership positions. I work with female corporate individuals who desire to be in the C-suite.
Thank you. So Dr. Kern is my HR partner in crime. For those of you who don't know, so I walk in that federal government space. She walks in the private sector space. So we're going to be talking about transitioning skills. So for a moment, let me just grab your attention for our very important guest. So she was on our show before, none other than Dr. Stacey NC Grant. She was on our show, and at the last minute, we switched the title because that's when Black Lives Matter and all of the protesting really kicked into gear. So we promised that we was going to bring her back for the original topic, which was faithpreneur. So let me just give you a bit of her bio so we can do the appropriate introduction. So Dr. Stacey NC Grant is an award-winning international speaker, a best-selling author, the founder of Destiny Designers University, which is a transformative multimedia empowerment experience and a unique suite of live and self-directed study on every aspect of entrepreneurship, including the signature Faithpreneur Success Curriculum. Based on Dr. Grant's best-selling book, Action, Action, Despite the Distraction, 7 Life Lessons to Thrive and Live Live Your Destiny Now. Dr. Grant is also CEO of CNG Enterprises Unlimited, LLC, and MWBE Innovative Communications Company, whose services include but are not limited to meeting facilitation, community engagement, and multimedia production services. Most recently, CNG Enterprises Unlimited was tapped as the MWBE firm selected to be the facilitator for the JFK Airport Redevelopment Advisory Council, a $13 billion, not million, $billion redevelopment project. As the producer of Faithpreneur Weekend, which we will talk about a little bit more, Dr. Grant convenes an annual gathering of faithpreneurs, which is faith-based entrepreneurs who grow their wealth generating practices around an affinity to God and faith. So, Dr. Stacey NC Grant, welcome to the show again. So, how we're going to do it, we're going to talk about the various 3 topics. But Dr. Karen, can we start off with transitioning your skills from the workplace to the marketplace? So in terms of your clients, and we have talked about this on several different occasions, so in terms of your client, your numerous years of experiences, can you talk a little bit and share a little bit about your immediate thoughts when I bring up that topic? Are you on mute?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. I can't hear you. So I'll
You,
start off because I can't hear her, Marcus. So for me, the timeliness of it has been right on time because I have been doing so many resumes since the whole COVID-19 started. Do It has been extremely busy. And one of the things that I have found to be so common previously before, but right now more like standout-ish, is that people are looking to change careers. People are looking to change careers. And one of the during our coaching session, the initial session, one of the things that people will say is, let's take, for example, I've gotten a lot of people who are in the school system. They will say, I've been working in the school system. Are my skills transferable to federal government positions? I never thought that it would be, I want to change a career. I'm looking at some other things. So it's so funny how several conversations, and I didn't ask for permission, so I can't call their names out right now, but several conversations, and specifically with some of the teachers. As we were dialoguing during the coaching session and they're giving me an overview of their experiences as I'm reviewing their resumes, I'm already writing and transitioning skills to what they can do in other positions and other jobs and pulling out their strengths. So by the time that we're midway in the conversation and I'm rolling back to them, they are wild and amazed. So Dr. Kern, I'm sure that your experience has been very similar to that. We've had conversations and been on teleconferences about this. So what are your thoughts? What are your experiences with that?
well, in terms of transferable skills from the workplace to the marketplace, definitely I would say communication is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
What you say and how you say it. Your listening skills, you're listening to understand and comprehend is something that is valuable in the workplace as well as in the marketplace as an entrepreneur. Your writing skills, your written communication, your writing skills, actually create a lasting impression once you leave. And then also in terms of communication, you need to have technological communication skills, your ability to kind of evaluate, the strengths and weaknesses of different forms of communication media. And then your ability to choose the appropriate medium to speak to your audience and your message. And so the overall communication skills, whether it's verbal, written, listening, or technological, are transferable from the workplace as well as to the marketplace, whether you're in corporate America or whether or not you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah, and you hit that right on the nose. And in addition to the things that you identify, a couple other things that I had is adaptability and leadership and your organizational skills. So a lot of times people overlook the small things that they do. When you're leading, you can be leading a classroom, you can be leading an assembly line. There's so many things that you can lead, even if it's in a project. You can be work in McDonald's, and it could be anything. You can lead the dessert line. You can lead whatever, but it's all in how you convey your skill in organizations. And I tell them, your resume speaks for you before you even walk in the door. So the way that you organize your resume to make sure that from the visibility standpoint that you have everything aligned is not only important to make sure that you have all the words spelled and all of the information conveyed as strongly using active words as much, but also that look is a tiebreaker, and also it's an attractive piece of it. The one skill set majorly for me when I'm talking about transition to the federal government is the analytical aspect of it. So management analyst and program analyst, in a nutshell, what that is looking at a situation, conducting research, finding a way and making a recommendation and then reporting the recommendation. We do that every day in our lives. It's an aspect of problem solving. So very good points and information that you offered in terms of what you see being the most popular ones. But communication is definitely the high one that's on point. And Dr. Stacy, I know that we're going to be talking about faithpreneur, but in terms of this, and you can bring it up more in depth when we talk about the Faithpreneur Weekend, but I know this topic was very important to you. That's how I linked up and became a part of Faithpreneur, because of you feeling the importance of people understanding you don't have to quit your job to automatically go to the marketplace. You can work the two and understand how you transfer those skills over. So any thoughts or any comments for you at the time regarding that topic?
Absolutely. But first of all, I want to say that I'm so excited to be back on the show with you. You know, my stock just went up again because I'm on Let's Do It with Ladrine Peterson. I mean, this is the place to be, and I'm just so excited to be here and to meet my new sister, Dr. Pruden. Like, this is the best way to spend a Monday. So I just had to get that out the way. And I am so excited that we're talking about this, because a lot of people feel that when you want to start a business or you have a desire to be an entrepreneur, and for me, the audience that I serve are faithpreneurs, that you have to quit your job, that you just have to run out there on faith and just quit and like, okay, Jesus, bring the money, right? That might not be the best way to do it. You might want to let your job or your 9-to-5 fund your 5 to 9,
Absolutely.
right? So you want to be able to put yourself in a position where I made that drastic leap. I jumped out there because I was involved in a company and doing some network marketing and feeling like, you know, I was going to go to the top. I was young and I'm like, okay, I'm going to quit my job and I'm just going to pursue this. That wasn't the best choice I could have made in the moment. Nothing against pursuing a dream. But if I had to do it again, I would have put some contingencies in place. I would have had some proper funding, a couple of months worth of reserve when you're building a business. Because when you're building a business, it's going to take more than bootstrapping. It's sacrifice. You're going to have to make a decision on what priorities come first. So if you have marketable skills that can move from the workplace to the marketplace, you test out the market while you have that steady income coming in, and you make that 9-to-5 your investor. You make that the money that you discipline yourself on how you're going to spend it so you can invest in growing another stream of income. And I think it's important to have that conversation, because some people feel if you don't quit your 9-to-5, then you're not really serious, that you're not really, you know, you're not going hard, you're not a real entrepreneur. And I rebuke that, because that's not the truth. Not everybody's in a position where they can take a leap and do that leap responsibly. Because if you're going to go into business, you need to be profitable. And that's something that I learned a hard lesson, right? You can want to give, you can have a giving heart, and there's so much that you want to do, but there's a difference between service and business. And in business, you have to make money. If there's no return on your investment of time and resources, then you have to reevaluate your business model. Serving is to serve and do the thing that God put you on this planet to do, and there's space and time for that. But he gave you your gifts and your talents so that it can make room for you, and you multiply it in the marketplace so that you can sustain yourself and leave an inheritance for your children's children, not drama and bills and whatever else, right? That's being a good steward.
Come on now, we're about to pass the plate already. But yes, that is like so on point. And I love how you phrase it in terms of allow your 9-to-5 to fund your 5-to-9. And that's like, I love how you put that, because one of the things, and I have like been in the entrepreneurial realm for 5 years now. So since 2015, the end of 2015, when I first started my business. And every session I went to, that's what I was hearing from the majority of people. I'm not going to say all. It was, oh, you need to quit your job, because if you quit your job, then you can focus on that. And then I knew immediately, like, that coach was not for me. Like, as I always tell people, I have allergies. I'm allergic to broke. So that wasn't going to work for me, like just going jumping straight. And in terms of the way my risk level work, like I'm a strategist. So I'm not saying that it always works out the best for me, but I look at all different angles, and everybody's situation is different. But I love that. But my connection, and I have to shout out Cheryl Wood, because that's one thing how I ended up like connecting with her early on when I first started my business, because that was like one of the first, in the first session, that was one of the things that she said, is I'm not telling you to run out and quit your job. Everybody have their own pace. And I was like, this is my girl right here. So I forever stay connected with that. But I love the points that you made. And Dr. Kern, definitely from our dialogue and you working in and out of various different spaces, and you just recently accepting this great and wonderful job at back in academia, a great accent to all the other things that you're doing. So I love how you move and shake and balancing the space and choosing how you want to go about doing that. I love it. But yeah, my story is my story, and I'm sticking to it. I'm sticking to mine. So yeah, so great topic. So let's move on to the next topic. And so this one, it really like is powerful, and it gets me in so many ways. So it's transferable gifts from the sanctuary to society. So it's so funny how in different waves, in different conversations that I have been in, and more so overhearing and debating about whether you can serve God and earn a profit for the same gifts that he has given you. And I have my take and going to allow for yours, but I wanted to, is also 2 Peter has something, but Proverbs 18:16, a man's gift maketh room for him and bringeth him before great men. So wanted to kind of like focus on that verse, but also wanted to give you all the floor to share your thoughts. What are your initial thoughts around that? And any myths that you feel that are just that, a myth?
Well, for me, I lean on my discerning spirit. I think the discerning spirit is good for not only the workplace, but for, the marketplace, and it comes from a spiritual connection. And it has stopped me from making some choices in corporate America that probably would have made me go left. And I cultivated that discerning spirit by my relationship with the Lord. And if you want to say, by my, the growth came from me being in a sanctuary and learning how to listen to the spirit when the spirit talks. And so for me, it would be discerning spirit that is a transferable skill that can help you when your people issues, can help you navigate waters when waters are difficult, and maybe some you don't know what's down the road. And so for me, it has been discerning spirit.
Amen. Amen. Dr. Stacy?
And I would have to agree. The enemy's job is to roam to and fro, seeking whom he can devour, right? So unless you stay in prayer and supplication, just asking God for guidance for that spirit of discernment, because mine was a little iffy for a minute, right? Because I wasn't really praying hard enough to say, Lord, what should I do? I did the opposite. I created and decided that this is what I wanted to do or thought I should be doing, and said, Lord, now you bless it. But he showed me that that's not the way the story goes. It needs to be, what would you have me do? How do I use these skills? How am I to move forward to be a blessing with what you've given me? And then that's when things shifted. That's when things started falling into place like, oh, wow, because it's a fine line for someone of faith to understand the difference between setting goals and going after the things that you want to do,
Right.
because that's what the world tells us to do. It's not that you can't have goals and dreams, but that we start and begin everything with God as the author and the finisher of our faith. So if that is the case, then our prayer needs to shift to, what would you have me do? And then you write the vision and make it plain so that you can run with it. But when you put him first, then all things shall be added. So for me, I had to course correct. Because I thought, I knew this, I knew that. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this, do this, do that. I'm like, okay, Lord, just bless it. Like, come on. That's like a parent and a child. Like your kid wants something and they go on and set up what they want. And then they tell you, Mom, come do this. Or Dad, come do that. It's life. And with the life that we've chosen with our free will is to believe that God is real, that his word is true. So if that is the case, that we die to self so that he can be increased and we decrease, so that we can follow the divine assignment that he has. Because if we do that, then our gifts will make room for us. Then it will bring us before great men. People will wonder, like, how did you do? Where did that come from? I tell people all the time, thank you for the kind words or anything that you might admire in me, but be very clear, it's not me. It's God's gift in me that I am bringing out to be a good steward of the gifts and the talents. I don't want to be like that gentleman in the Bible who took his one talent and thought he was doing something good by hiding it and keeping it so that he could give it back when the time came. No, I want to be the one that multiplied times 10 so I can get his and some more. Right?
Amen.
That's being a good steward of what God has given you. And it's a growth process. I wasn't always here. I wasn't always as strong and as clear about the road ahead. But faith, you work that out in the gym called life. And the stronger you get is the more powerful your faith becomes and the more determined you are to do the thing that you've been put on this planet to do.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. Amen. And
That is
for
great.
me, I know like 100% that my faith and my growth in the word and getting closer with God is what like even like got me focused in alignment into this business thing. I did not plan to start my business. I was helping somebody else to start their business. We had a date, a venue, and everything. And she was like, I can't do it because my pastor is not available. And I'm like, we have all of this. Something's going to go down. And in 30 days, I took notes and came up with logo, website, launch party, like everything. I had planned to launch something like 7 years from that date. And everything worked. So I know that it was God pushing me. And then from a church standpoint, when we have Bible study and the sermons, I don't just listen to them at the time that it's delivered by my pastor or whoever's leading. I go back and I study it. Saturdays with you, Dr. Stacy, I don't only focus on the discussion as we're going through it, and you'll know how I pay attention to everything that's going on because I find the linkage. But I know that God is using my gifts. I am a true introvert. I know people don't believe it. That's why I'm having a wonderful time while we are sheltered in place. But I wasn't the one that really associated and opened up and talked to people or even probe people because I felt it was like getting into their business. That's just how we grew up. So never would I have gone into that. I used to be, don't judge me, but I used to be very critical and sort of in a way of judgmental, not of people and what they did, but always kind of like feeling like everybody just used people and no one was genuinely kind and cared and loved for one another. So it was like hold my wall and protect myself. And forgiveness. So all of the things that I have really grown through with church, I never would have been fit to be a vessel for God because I was not, my personality, my ways, my mindset wasn't in that space. But through studying the word, really understanding and asking and trying to develop that relationship with God, oh my goodness, like he has opened me up so much. That's why when I go, I don't prepare a script. I don't prepare information. I may have like 5 words written on a sheet of paper. And I'm like, God, speak to me. Like half the time, I'm like, God, come on, it's getting close to time. Like, give me something, drop something in. But when I tell you the honest God truth, like when I'm speaking to people and when I'm having that dialogue, it is not coming from me. It is me being obedient and allowing in the obedience of being acceptive of God using me as a vessel. So I know that my gifts and my talents of me being to myself, that wasn't the way that he wanted to be. So now acting in obedience, even when things look crazy, or even when I don't want to say something to somebody, or even when I don't want to probe because I think it may be getting in their business too much. In my obedience, I have seen so many great things in other people that just gives me a whole different level of love, care, and concern for everybody. And that's a part of the word and how God wants you to be. So definitely utilize your gifts. They're your God-given gifts for you to utilize for that aspect. So, yeah. So let's go to a quick commercial. And then on the other side, we're going to get to the juicy topic, faith and business. Do they mix? All right. So I'll see you all after the commercial.
Interested in real estate investing but not quite sure where to get started? Do you want to get the know-hows on creating ongoing passive income using the buy and hold strategy? Hi, I'm Janice Bowles, realtor and co-founder of B Premier Ventures, a real estate development and consulting firm where we buy and beautify real estate, renovate it, and resell for profit. With over 15 years of experience, B Premier has extensive knowledge in rural land development, fix and flips, and rental acquisitions. The current portfolio consists of properties within and Virginia. Our services includes investor project consulting, project management, and group coaching. For more information, visit our website at bpremierventures.com and schedule a complimentary discovery session or subscribe to our email list. It's free. Follow me on Instagram at Janice Bowles for additional real estate investing tips. B Premier Ventures, we buy and beautify.
Welcome back, everybody. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you have not already, please share the show and also make sure that you're following us on all social media platforms. It's Let's Do It Talk Show on Facebook, Instagram, as well as our website. And then we also have a page that is on YouTube. So shout out to everybody who's tuning in with us. We got Major Vandy and Andre Watts, childhood friends, serve in the church and have been on the show talking about these very things. So I know that you all know exactly what I'm talking about. You know me from a little young girl, so you know how I was, and now opening up into doing different things. It's nobody but God. Huge shout out to D Bowden, who's always supporting, and also to Janice Bowles. And I cannot see the other names. I see the numbers on there, but I can't see the other names. So shout out to everyone who is tuning in. So we talked about transferable skills from the workplace to the marketplace, and then we talked about transferable gifts from the sanctuary to society. So now we're going to talk about faithpreneur and faith in business. So these two topics is it okay to mix it? So to introduce into the topic, Dr. Stacey NC Grant has that trademark, Faithpreneur. That's hers. It belongs to her. So you might see it everywhere else, but it's hers. And in fact, she has an event that she does that's called Faithpreneur Weekend. And we have a video. So we're going to kick off with the video, and then we're going to jump right into dialogue.
So what is a faithpreneur? A faithpreneur is a faith-based entrepreneur with a fidelity to God in organizing, managing, and operating their business, and or a faith-based professional looking to add another stream of income to their personal economy. Understanding that God has already given us gifts, skills, talents that we are able to share in the global marketplace, but we need to do the training required in order to create that roadmap to strategically leverage our relationships, our resources, and our revenue to create sustainable legacies.
Yes. So Faithpreneur Weekend, you definitely don't want to miss that. I went and I was a speaker last year. I will be speaking this year. It will be virtually, but last year was so super amazing. I'm excited about returning. And Dr. Stacey, we're going to talk about Faithpreneur at the last component of it. So let's jump into this topic really, really quickly. Faith in business. So originally my question was going to be, when is it okay to mix? So you already know my bias with that. But is it okay to mix? So I definitely want to hear, y'all thoughts. And I'll tell you my first line. My first line is, if God and Jesus ain't in it, and I said ain't. If God and Jesus ain't in it, then I ain't either. That's how I feel about it. So by all means, share your insights and your thoughts about how do you feel about this. So Dr. Karen, can we start with you?
Well, for me, I don't believe that you can I can't separate my faith. I'm at work 8, 10, 12, 14 hours a day. My faith is who I am. And so I can't separate my faith from who I am and how I conduct myself. And so working in human resources, of course, we respect individuals of all different faiths and even those who don't have faith. However, I exhibit my faith through my behavior and my interactions. I do not go around and talk about who I serve, but because of how I conduct myself, they know I hold myself accountable and I serve a higher power. And so without mentioning all the time, because there are times when I do mention my faith at work to a few people, without actually being preachy about it, my faith comes out in how I conduct myself with integrity. I'm honest. I follow up. I try to do things in excellence. And many times for major decisions, I pray before I make those major decisions, knowing that I need guidance. And so for me, there is no separation between work and my faith. I'm one mind, one spirit. And so I take my faith to work with me.
Amen. I love that. Dr. Stacey?
But I wrote that even in my book, that there's no separation of church and state for me, right? The same as Dr. Pruden. Like, that is who I am. And I used to get, how should I say, counseled by people in the public speaking arena that were concerned that I would turn off opportunities or people would not want to hire me or bring me in if I mentioned God. And my response was, then I'm not the speaker for them. What's for me is for me. I'm not going to apologize and I'm not going to talk about the universe when I believe in Jesus. If you want to talk about the universe, that's fine. And I'm not going to judge you for it, no shade. But I'm not going to compromise my faith. And I'm going to stand unapologetically in my faith. So, if I'm coming, yes, there are times I'm doing training where I'm not definitely talking about a specific Bible scripture, but you will hear me reference all the time my faith because it's the core of who I am. That's what I live and breathe. So I'm not going to shy away from presenting that up front. And if you can't handle that, or if that's too much for you, or if it offends your audience, then I'm not the person for you. I'm not here for everybody. I know that. I'm here for the people God predestined and preordained me to serve. So that's the way my gifts make room for me, is by understanding that for me, just as Dr. Pruden just said, there's no separation. This is who we are. And if other people can be bold and bodacious in what they believe, why can't I be bold and bodacious in who I believe in? Mm-hmm. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Not the at the end.
I need a lot of help. Y'all got to pray for me. Yeah.
But no, I love that. And definitely, Dr. Kern, one of the things that you brought up in terms of HR. So HR, from our training, we know and we fully understand that religion is something that you cannot really focus on in the workplace, because it becomes a thin line between discrimination or offending someone else. So definitely in terms of my career and all of the things, I'm very careful in terms of that. I mean, I know policies, I know understanding, but just as you said, I always talk about ethics, you know, and I don't care if they say so-and-so and so-and-so is a Christian, but they don't do that. I'm not held responsible for that person. My contract is between me and God and nobody else at the end of the day. But for my personal business, for Do It, I'm faith all day long. And if it's a sponsor or if it's a donor or if it's a client, and that's just my way of talking. I pray, me and God, that's what I do, like a lot of my day. And I turn to God for my answers. So all roads for me lead to God. So it's not to offend anyone, but I'm not going to adjust my business and my way of operation, because my gifts that God gave me made room for me and the people that I meet and the places that I go. Like, all of it is ordained, and God doesn't want me to hide from him or not share. We walk in his light. We walk in his image. We are a representation of him. So that's the only way that I know to be since I'm growing up. So definitely in my business, that's my personal business, and that's the way that I operate in that field. So great answers from everyone in terms of how that operates. So faithpreneur, like, not only is that you actually have it trademarked. So let's get into spending some time about faithpreneur, how it came about, the term, and also Faithpreneur Weekend.
Absolutely. And I'm excited to be able to share the test, because it's truly a testimony. It starts with my grandmother, who left this planet December 15, 2015. And she was 98 years young. And I was blessed that from the day I came into this world, she was with me until the day she left this world. And the legacy of faith that I stand on is one that makes me very humble every day, Ladrine, to know that I am the beneficiary of every prayer that she prayed, of what didn't manifest while she was living on earth, she's able to see with an angel view. And that the things that I am doing, the things and the places and the opportunities and the doors that have been opened were because of God's faithful answer to her prayers, because I didn't realize that my grandmother had started a business in Jamaica, West Indies, where we're from. I found out about that, and I thought I knew everything about Grandma. Wow. I found that out as we were preparing to lay her to rest. And I said, what? She had a business? And my aunt said, yep, your grandfather built a whole nother side to the house so that she could set up her store. She could start selling, her wares and things. And folks kept coming to the store, didn't have money to pay. So what we would call here in the States would be layaway. They would come, and I'm going to say it with our accent, Miss Pearl, me beg you, let me take this today, I'm going to bring the money tomorrow. So if people keep doing that, keep coming for layaway, and there's no money coming in, right. My grandfather was like, we shutting this down. And I know my grandfather, God rest his soul, I know he was like, oh, heck no, this store got to go. So what if my grandmother had what we're training and developing in our faithpreneurs during Faithpreneur Weekend? So when she passed away, it was the impetus to help me to finish the book God gave me, which was Action Despite the Distraction. 7 Life Lessons on How to Thrive and Live Your Destiny Now. And I launched that book on the eve of her birthday, August 16th, 2016. And that night, it was just such, first of all, we were sold out. It was standing room only. I could feel my grandmother there, her presence just beaming that this had come to fruition. And the testimony on the book, you have to read the book to just understand just what work God did in that moment. And after we launched that book, I said, okay, next year she'll be 100. And I had 100th celebration for her in heaven with a legacy dinner, August 17, 2017.
Wow.
And the next year I said, well, what can I do? How do I celebrate this faith? Because my grandmother's faith was rock solid. If God told her, I don't care who you were, I don't care what came, she wasn't shifting, she wasn't moving. She said, God said it, I will wait until it manifests. And Faithpreneur Weekend was born. It was born out of an idea. Like, let's celebrate that you can mix faith and business. And we're going to have Faithpreneur Weekend as my way of standing on this legacy of faith, protecting it for my family so we can pass it on to generation, understanding when you put God first, all things shall be added. And we'll launch Faithpreneur Weekend 2K18 in the center of the world, the New York Marriott Marquis, right outside where the ball used to drop every year. I don't know if they're going to drop the ball come 2021 because of the Rona, but we pray that this virus is gone. But that's where we launched Faithpreneur Weekend. And I stepped out in a big way on faith. My husband was like, a weekend? Can we just start with like one event like you did the last 2 years? I'm like, no, because go big or go home, right? I serve a God who can do all things but fail. So why am I going to shrink the vision that he gave me? We're going to work it out. And it was a painful birthing. Let me tell you, when God gives you an assignment, it don't come out nice and easy. And anybody who's been in labor, you understand that there's labor and delivery. Well, we delivered Faithpreneur Weekend as the start of a gathering of this ecosystem of faithpreneurs, faith-based entrepreneurs with a fidelity to God in organizing, managing, and operating their businesses, and faith-based professionals looking to add another stream of income to their personal economy. And we kick off Faithpreneur Weekend on Thursdays with our Legacy Gala. That Legacy Gala is always going to be special because that's where I celebrate this legacy that I'm standing on, and I celebrate a portion of my family that gives tribute to my grandmother. And then I honor people in my life who have been an inspiration. The first year we honored my mentors. So we honored the people who have poured into me, who have given me platform and opportunities. So from Susan Taylor to Les Brown, Dr. George C. Frazier, Linda Clemens, Vera Moore, Dr. Joel P. Martin, Dr. Emma Frazier Pendleton. And last year, we did my first round, because I have a couple of rounds to go, but my first round of some amazing people in my life. Sonia Jackson Miles, Dr. Randall Pinkett, Lethea Owens, Toya Beasley, Becky Davis, Stephen Powell, Donna Hicks Izard. It's just so many people that I have to celebrate that they're standing in their faith, building $1 million, billion-dollar business, unapologetically being people of faith. And this year is no different. I get to honor another roster of the amazing people in my life, from Cheryl McKissick to Caroline Clark from Black Enterprise to DC Marshall from Girlfriends Pray to Pam Perry, Speakers Magazine, and the list goes on. And I'm privileged to be able to know such quality people, not because of what they've accomplished, but because these are the people that are in my front row. These are the people that I pray with on a regular basis, that I brainstorm and mastermind with. So that Legacy Gala is a very special time and place for me to celebrate those individuals like Dr. Pamela C.V. Jolly, who is a crowd favorite at Faithpreneur Weekend, and she'll be back again this year. Friday is our training day. Full-blown training and development for our faithpreneurs, focused on leveraging your relationships, your resources, and your revenue to create sustainable legacies. No more stepping out and saying that we're walking on faith and we're waiting for a miracle. Unblind your faith and do the work to get your house in order so that you can show yourself approved to do the thing that God has called you to do, to fill your vessels with the oil that you already have. So we go in deep in talking about how to create legacy wealth, how to fix your credit, work on business credit, how to protect your intellectual property, how to take your transferable skills from the workplace to the marketplace, which Ladrine Peterson is going to be talking about. We talk about how to leverage relationships with JVs and affiliates so you can grow faster, how to become MWBE certified so that you have another vertical in your business, other opportunities. And we do a bonus segment on how to honor your temple. We only get one life. We only get one body. While I would like to be in Beyonce's waist size, that might not be my current reality. So I still got to take care of the body that's holding me up every day, how to have stamina for the journey. And we get in talking about those things that we need to do to fortify ourselves for the road ahead. We have 2 other bonus segments, our Faithpreneur Millennials, where we talk about receiving the mantle, learning from one generation to the next generation how to walk out our faith. And it might look differently from generation to generation, but as long as we're doing it in God's will and in his way, he will bless it. We talk about how to be married to an entrepreneur. It takes a very special person to be married to an entrepreneur, because you 2 parts cray-cray if you want to go out here and start something on your own, not know what it is, where the money coming from, Jesus. So you have to understand who you're with and how you're building something and have the patience to support an entrepreneur. I had my husband on the panel last year. He said, I'm not going on no stage. Yes, you is. And he did. And we had a great conversation with some other faithpreneurs who are walking that journey. And this year, I'm so excited to confirm the people who will be on, who have a ministry on relationships and just talking about what that looks like to be equally yoked. We do 2 live tapings. We do Dream Do Done for lunch.
Yes.
That's an accountability show that we do every Monday with Serena Brown Travis, Les Brown's baby girl, and Tamara Hartley, the how-to coach. And we do a live taping of the Vera Moore TV show that I'm a co-host of. So when I say Friday is packed with information and content to transform and change your life, I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. And then we wrap it up on Saturday morning with our Faithpreneur VIP prayer breakfast. Every Saturday morning, God has blessed me with the stamina and the strength to be able to sustain this prayer call for a decade. And we do the call live at Faithpreneur Weekend. Ladrine is always on supporting and sharing in that community. And we're going to have the call live. We give out an award for the Winnie Birch Faithpreneur Award. That's one of our Faithpreneur members who transitioned and received her angel wings, but her faith was so encouraging as she stood the course and she said, whatever daddy's will is, I'm okay with it. If he calls me home, that's to my glory. If he raised me up from the bed, that's to his glory. Whichever way it goes, I'm okay with what daddy says. And I want to honor that kind of faith every year. Her children will be a part of the selection of who gets the award this year. The first recipient was Minister Latanya Boyd of Global Conversations, and I instituted the International Faithpreneur Corporate Pearl Award. This award is named after my grandmother, and that award will go to every year someone in corporate America who has done amazing work, not compromising their faith, but adding another stream of income to their personal economy. Last year, we honored Dr. Cynthia Marshall, known as Cint Marshall. She's the CEO of the Dallas Mavericks, one of my strongest prayer warriors, mentors, and friends. And this year, we're honoring Cecilia Nelson Hurt, who is the Associate Vice President of Diversity and Inclusion at L'Oreal USA. And I'm going to give my keynote. This year I'm going in on what we're going to share about being profitable and moving towards cash flow positive faithpreneurs. I made a bold statement that we want to build 1 million cash flow positive faithpreneurs in this decade. And on top of all of that, we feed you. Even though it's virtual, we're giving you a meal allowance for you to have dinner with us, courtesy of Grubhub, on the Thursday night gala, lunch on Friday, breakfast on Saturday. You're getting a Faithpreneur action box filled with information, not only from our sponsors, but some new products I haven't released yet, and they're going into the Faithpreneur action box. We're giving you complimentary access to my signature course at Destiny Designers University, and that's this Now or Never, Your Dreams Can't Wait. And we're giving a 4-week bonus training. We're up to week 3 coming up tomorrow on Are You Platform Ready? Still bootstrapping your business, because we want to get you in position to absorb all the information that'll be given at Faithpreneur Weekend. So if you think I'm passionate, if you think I'm fired up now, you haven't seen anything yet, because honey, this baby is starting to walk. We putting on the potty pants and we moving on. We 3 years old and we didn't want the Rona to make us virtual, but I promise you this is going to be the best one yet. What God is doing in the midst of all that we see. And I tell everybody, and I've said it over and over again on my prayer call, every training I do, acknowledge what you see. We'd be hypocritical not to acknowledge the pain, the trauma, and the suffering that COVID-19 has brought to this world. We'd be hypocritical not to acknowledge the racial unrest and the bias that we see coming to a head in our country right now. We'd be hypocritical if we didn't acknowledge the financial challenge that people are going through, losing their jobs, businesses in question. But here's what I want you to do. Acknowledge what you see, but trust what you know. And what you know, trouble don't last always. What you know, we serve a God who cannot fail. What you know is that we've done hard before and we can do it again. What you know is that everything is either God ordained or God allowed. So whatever reason we're going through this, there will be something new birthed from it. And we need to be in position to be the answers to the problems we see, to be the aspirin for the headaches of this world, and to be the lights that God needs us to be on this planet.
Okay. I was about to sign up and register, but I forgot I'm speaking, so I get complimented. I was about to sign up and pay for my own ticket. Like, that is, like, just so much. Just hearing you run everything down, and then, like, honestly, and then me being a witness last year of everything that I got from the speakers, the relationships that I built with so many different people there, and just the information alone, the people information, the everything on every angle of it. And even from when it was talking about the relationships, being married to an entrepreneur, my situation is complex, but it still gave me some tidbits and some information to go by. But Dr. Stacy, like, all of the things that you're giving in this packet that is a part of it, it's just like almost a success packet where you can't fail. Like, you have to win with all of the tools and everything. And I'm so excited. I cannot wait to share, and I thank you, and I'm so appreciative for you even inviting me on the platform last year. Happy to be on there this year. Happy to be a part of everything that you are doing. Faithpreneur VIP call on Saturdays are off the hook. I promise you, I get off sometimes feeling like I'm a preacher, a prayer, a minister, or something. It's just how the word moves about and how the connection goes. Just like this weekend, how somebody reached out for a prayer and I'm texting you, then I opened up. So I have connected with that couple to actually provide assistance, and God knows all the stuff that I've been going through the deaths and everything. You all have been right there praying me through it. So it's been such an amazing time. I love what Faithpreneur stands for. I love the purpose of it. I love like how you have the weekend and everything that goes into it. All things tie into one another, but I love the foundation that it is built on. So quickly, we can do any last minutes before I do the closeout sessions, but I can't wait till Faithpreneur weekend. I sincerely can't. The dialogue that we had was great. So please tell everyone how they can connect with you and share any quick 60-minute words that you want to leave with the audience as well.
So I just want to thank you again for having me here. And I want to thank Dr. Karen as well for being here and being a part of this discussion. What I want to leave for you is what I said before. Acknowledge what you see, trust what you know, and keep taking action despite the distraction. The kind of level of distraction that we're seeing right now are beyond proportions that we ever thought we would witness. But God still sits on the throne. He's still sitting high, looking low. He sees all things. He knows all things. So be encouraged in spite of it all. There will be greater after this. And I invite you to be a part of Faithpreneur Weekend. You can go to faithpreneurweekend.com to register for the event. But I'm going to do something special, Ladrine. I'm going to do another one of my free trainings. I said I was only going to do a limited amount because right now I am so focused on making sure that the programming and everything is pristine for everyone that registers for Faithpreneur Weekend. But I'm doing a free training called Unapologetically Profitable in Business this Thursday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to get to know me a little bit more, if you want to take advantage of this free training, I'm telling you, this alone will be a game changer. People have been texting, I can't believe I missed it. There's no replay. And, you know, my soft heart, I'm like, I'll do it one more again. So if you want to catch it, you want to catch this one, it's free live training destinydesignersuniversity.com. And Ladrine, you can put that out to your group in your feed and they can register for it. It's literally a free live training. And I'm going in on being unapologetically profitable in business. All of my social media is my name, Dr. Stacey NC Grant, on Facebook, on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, everything else is Stacey NC Grant, SCACIE NC Grant, or you can find Destiny Design U, and that's on every platform, DESTINY DESIGN and the letter U on every platform. I look forward to staying connected. Come join our Faithpreneur VIP prayer call. It's absolutely complimentary every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our replays we just put up, so they're all up on every podcast platform and on YouTube and SoundCloud. So I just look forward to connecting with God's people. I look forward to building this movement to 1 million strong of cash flow positive faithpreneurs. And Ladrine, thank you for being a part of my front row and being the blessing that you are. Dr. Karen, it's a pleasure being here with you virtually, sending you virtual hugs, and appreciate the work that Let's Do It. Make sure you follow, tag, forward, and support the work that Ladrine is doing out here with conversations that matter in our community.
God bless you. And someone's on the line asking how much, what's the cost of the event for the Faithpreneur?
Oh, the event, well, we're at the last year, we'll be at $349. So it's $349 for the weekend event, or you can choose, and that gives you all of the bonuses with the all access pass. If you just come for one day, we have a la carte options that you can choose to register for just the Thursday, just the Friday, or the Saturday. But all the information is on faithpreneurweekend.com.
And when we get, after we get off the live, I'll put the flyers in the feed, and also if you can send me the information for the free website to my email, Dr. Stacey, I'll put that in the feed as well. But it's always a pleasure to have you on the on our show, and just always a pleasure to be in your presence. Always a pleasure to hear you on the call. I just love me some you, and we're not going to have a battle or over the air where I know you love me more and I love you more too. So we are tied, all right? We're tied in the love. We mutually love each other. And then to my contributing host, Dr. Karen, I love it when we get to play in our HR sandbox. Love it when we go into dialogue, whether it is being on a Zoom together, on the show together, or just rapping and talking about HR. I love all the experiences that you bring from corporate America, and I get to tie it in from my federal government. On the post that I wrote today, the amount we have close to 60 years combined in HR experiences, and along the powerful things that you did, along the powerful things that I did together, like I so enjoy like connecting and working with you. So please share your social media and any last minute words that you have for our audience.
Well, just in closing for me, I just want to let everybody know that my latest book, Prudent Principles, 10 Strategies to Propel Women to the C-Suite, is now available. It is for female managers. It is for C-suite leaders of female managers and managers who aspire to the C-suite. Just to give you a peek about some of the chapters that are in there is generalists get credibility, specialists get the job, network up, down, and after 5, communication, you need more than a resume, coaches and mentors, get ready for the interview, data-driven leadership is more than a spreadsheet, image, it is more than a blazer, and compensation negotiations, doing salary offer. And the last chapter, which is the precipice for the book, You Are Not One of the Boys. Again, that is Prudent Principles, 10 Strategies to Propel Women to the C-Suite. You can purchase it at or you can find it on my Facebook page, Prudent Global Business Solutions.
Awesome, and excited. And we have to do a show around that book and some of the pieces within that. So we're definitely going to have that coming up. So thank you all so much for tuning in to this episode. Time flies when we get on the on the line and we get to talking. This topic, the topic about faith, you know me, church girl, and nothing can separate me from my God. So very interesting topics as each of us engage into our feelings, our experiences, and how we feel about this whole thing. The next show. So next week's show is relationship. Can anybody guess what the topic is going to be? Entanglement. Like, how can we not have it be titled entanglement? Like, I don't even watch TV, but everything, I knew what was going on, and I know like the whole word, and I saw on social media a whole little rap and everything, a remix that they did about entanglement. But that's going to be our topic for next week. So we have our coach, our relationship and matchmaking coach, who is out of New York, Dr. Stacy. Coach Neek will be on with us as she always do. She brings her game, and she is like phenomenal in terms of her information. And she also talks from relationships from a God-based situation. But entanglement is our topic for next week. So again, thank you all so much. Make sure you follow us on all social medias. Let's Do It Talk Show. Facebook, Instagram, and that's also our YouTube page as well as our website. So thank you all so much and have a great week. Bye-bye.